Good morning, everybody. Pastor Nate Borman here, one of the pastors at Mount Lebanon Lutheran Church. Here for a daily devotional thought. We are walking our way. We are continuing to walk our way through Paul's first letter to the Corinthians. We're almost done. We're going to actually finish up tomorrow, and then we're going to jump into 2 Corinthians. Again, just seeing Paul's relationship with this Corinthian congregation. We've been calling it Messy Church because church is messy. Living together with other Christians, living together in a sinful world is messy. It's hard, it's ugly, it's painful, all those things. But yet, that's my favorite word, yet. It's messy, yet. We can maybe say, but there's hope, and there's peace, and there's a resurrection, right? This is the promise that God makes through the Apostle Paul. Yet Christ has been raised. And so I want to ask you this question. I'm going to read the Bible verse last to you today. I want to ask you this question. How'd you live today if you knew that you couldn't lose? How would you live today if you knew that you couldn't lose? How would you live today if you knew that no matter what you did, no matter how hard you worked, no matter what you did, how would you live today if you knew that you couldn't lose? If you knew that you could walk out on the soccer pitch, if you knew that you could walk out onto the football field, if you knew that you could walk onto the volleyball court, if you knew you could walk into the office today, if you knew that you could walk into work today, into the classroom today, into the pulpit today, what would you do? How would you live today if you knew that you couldn't and that you wouldn't lose? How would you live today if you knew that everything you did mattered and counted for something? You know, sometimes we live our lives and we wonder if the work that we're doing actually makes a difference. We wonder if it matters. How would you live today if not only you knew that you couldn't lose and that you were guaranteed a win today, but how would you live today if you knew that everything you did mattered? Like, how would you do your work? If when you sat down to write the email, if you picked up the phone to make a call, whatever you did, how would you live today if you knew that cleaning the house, picking up the toys, writing an email, finishing a report, teaching some kids, how would you live today if you knew that everything you did mattered? I think a lot about our lives would change then, wouldn't it? If we lived our lives knowing that we couldn't lose, if we lived our lives knowing that everything we did mattered, I think a lot of our lives would change. And really that's how Paul, I'm looking at my notes because I feel like this is really important to say, that's why Paul writes this great resurrection chapter, because he wants you to know that you can't lose. He wants you to know that everything you do matters. He wants you to know that there's a swagger, there's a confidence that the child of God gets to have. Yes, we get to have. Now we can have it, but we get to have this swagger where we can stare death and sin in the face and say, "What you got?" I always read this section of 1 Corinthians 15 and I get all excited because there's just so much swagger and confidence flowing out of these verses, because not only can't we lose because Jesus already won, but we're assured that everything we do, that it matters because Jesus rose from the dead. And we can stare the things that scare us the most in the face and say, "What you got? Where, O death, is your sting? Where, O sin, is your victory?" Right? You got nothing. Right? We can walk into this day knowing that you can't lose, that everything you do matters, and that you can stare your enemies in the face and in your heart at least say, "You got nothing." That's the confidence that Paul wants us to have. I want to read you the verse now. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 58. He's spent all this time talking about the resurrection and why it matters and what it's going to be like and the life that we can live now. And then he says, "Therefore," right, which is Paul's great conclusion line. "Therefore, because of all these things, therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully," right, all in, "always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain." You can't lose. Everything you do matters, and all your enemies have lost their power. So live for the Lord today. Walk into the office, walk into the classroom, walk into the day with your head held high, with your heart beaming with confidence, and with a conviction that what you do matters today. It matters to the Lord because He redeemed you for His purposes. He has set you in place for this day. So get out there and serve Him today. Have a great day, everybody. This is the Lord's Day, and by His grace, because of His grace, because of His resurrection, you get to live for Him today, and everything that you do matters. It's not in vain. Have a great day, everybody. The Lord be with you all and grant you His peace.